Miami police are investigating an incident involving boxer Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather, the unrivaled pugilist, shattered public expectations as a life sentence reverberated through the courtroom, leaving the world in stunned silence and disbelief. His expression, raw with anguish and defiance, revealed a tragic descent from grace. In a dramatic, tearful breakdown, explosive revelations emerged, linking him to covert encrypted files and dubious alliances with an underground realm of high-stakes deceptions. Every moment on that stage transformed the legendary champion into a figure of profound sorrow and startling intrigue. This riveting saga has captivated audiences, igniting global discussion over fame, fortune, and ultimate downfall. An unforgettable seismic moment in history. The courtroom buzzed with a charged intensity that few could have foreseen. As the world's eyes fixated on Floyd Mayweather, a name synonymous with unbeatable triumphs and unyielding swagger, for reasons that defied his once immaculate reputation, the proceedings unfolded with dramatic flair as legal experts, law enforcement, officials, and a stunned public bore witness to events that would etch this day into the annals of cultural lore. No longer merely the glittering icon of boxing, Mayweather now found himself ensnared in a labyrinth of allegations and shocking truths. His personal empire of wealth, charm, and bravado slowly dissolving beneath the weight of incriminating evidence. The atmosphere in the room was electric, heavy, with an air of irreversible transformation that left onlookers grappling with disbelief. In a series of relentless exchanges, the courtroom drama revealed layers of complexity previously hidden behind the glamorous veneer of a sporting legend. The investigation had uncovered a trove of encrypted data on Mayweather's personal phone, data so sensitive that its very existence hinted at a clandestine network of communications and unrecorded transactions. Government agents spoke of mysterious voice memos and obscure written messages that referenced covert meetings and secretive gatherings known only by coded nicknames. This digital breadcrumb trail not only challenged the public's long-held image of the champion, but also suggested that beyond the glitz of his illustrious career lay an underworld of high-stakes deceptions and dangerous liaisons. As the prosecution laid out its narrative, experts detailed how years of opulent living and lavish promises had masked a far grimmer reality. According to confidential sources, Mayweather's financial fortitude had been sustained by a series of unsustainable financial maneuvers.
Dwayne Wade training his son, you don't see Dwayne Wade playing against just anybody. He's not doing it. You haven't earned that privilege. It's a privilege to be in the company of greatness, in their venue, in their habitat, in their specialized, home, per se. Floyd Money Mayweather should not be letting just anybody in the ring with him. That's my
maneuvers and undisclosed transactions. Investigators traced suspicious fund transfers that hinted at tax evasion and misappropriation of assets, a cascading series of errors that saw his prized properties and luxurious lifestyle vanish virtually overnight. In hushed tones, legal analysts speculated that what began as a minor oversight had escalated into a massive federal crackdown, with asset seizures and bankruptcy filings unraveling a once impregnable fortune. During the proceedings, Mayweather himself offered rare, heart-rending commentary. At one point his voice quavered as he confessed, "I always believed I was untouchable, that nothing could shatter the legacy I built. Now I see that I was merely a man, flawed and vulnerable." In these moments of unscripted candor, the boxer's words painted an intimate portrait of a man wrestling with the dual weight of public adoration and personal despair. His tone was laden with regret, defiance, and an unyielding desire to reclaim some semblance of dignity in the face of overwhelming evidence. Each word was a window into a soul, tormented by the consequences of decisions that had spiraled far beyond his control. Behind closed doors, and amidst the barrage of media scrutiny, whispers had long circulated about secretive partnerships and covert operations that Mayweather had allegedly orchestrated. One of the most startling revelations emerged from a digital forensic investigation that linked his personal communications to none other than a renowned entertainment mogul. Repeated digital traces pointed to clandestine meetings, coded conversations, and mutual assurances exchanged in hushed tones. These revelations hinted at a collaboration that was designed not only to bolster public images, but also to conceal financial experimentation and risky business ventures. Though details remain shrouded in secrecy, The narrative suggests that the very alliances that once elevated Mayweather's status may now have played a role in his rapid and precipitous downfall. Interwoven with the legal theatrics was the disintegration of an empire built on dazzling successes and extravagant living. The stories that emerged during the trial recounted how an initial veneer of meticulously managed wealth gave way to rampant financial mismanagement, scandals that touched on everything from alleged tax evasion to inflated property claims. One of the most controversial aspects involved Mayweather's boastful assertion of purchasing 62 buildings purportedly worth millions. Investigative reports quickly revealed,
Got to stop. You want to get Conor McGregor in the ring for an exhibition match? All right, that's fine. You know, Conor sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it. John Gotti III, I don't know anything about him. I'm not trying to disrespect him. And yes, I'm being smart. I'm not trying to disrespect the grandson of a mobster. Fair enough. But what I'm trying to say is this.
that these claims were far from accurate, throwing into sharp relief a pattern of embellishments designed to dazzle fans and investors alike. The debunked real estate myth served as a bitter reminder that even the mightiest icons are not immune to the perils of deception. Throughout the trial, the courtroom transformed into a crucible where past glories and current transgressions collided with explosive intensity. Expert witnesses described how the encrypted files found on Mayweather's phone were meticulously organized, their layers upon layers of complex coding resembling a digital fortress intended to conceal as much as it revealed. Analysts speculated that these files contained sensitive details regarding secret transactions, covert meetings, and even cryptic references to events codenamed freak-offs. Such terminology, once obscure and confined to whispered conversations, now echoed throughout the halls of justice as the public struggled to decipher its true meaning. Every revelation heightened the stakes, transforming the narrative from a mere criminal trial to a saga of epic proportions that transcended the confines of any single courtroom. In the midst of the mounting revelations, the champion's inner turmoil became impossible to ignore. His public breakdown was punctuated by long, reflective pauses and tearful admissions that laid bare the emotional scars of a lifetime spent in the limelight. Observers noted how his usually unflappable demeanor gave way to moments of raw vulnerability, as if the weight of his hidden sins finally bore down with ruthless force. It was a scene that evoked both sympathy and profound shock. A man who had spent decades on top, now undone by the relentless march of truth and justice. Legal experts and cultural commentators alike debated whether this emotional unraveling might be the beginning of a long, arduous journey toward redemption. Behind the stark drama of the trial lay a broader cultural commentary. Floyd Mayweather's rapid fall from grace resonated with an entire generation that had once idolized his swagger, skill, and seemingly unbreakable confidence. Social media platforms erupted with a torrent of opinions, memes, and heated discussions, each dissecting every minute detail of the proceedings. The narrative of an untouchable champion being brought low by a combination of miscalculations and fate struck a deep chord with a public increasingly disillusioned by the myths of celebrity perfection. In this digital age where every secret is eventually unearthed and every mistake magnified, Mayweather's story became a parable, a vivid illustration of how even the
kind of stuff that's just embarrassing. Look at this here, please.
That's it.
brightest stars can be dimmed by the harsh light of scrutiny. As the prosecution presented damning evidence, it became clear that the investigation was nothing short of a full-scale operation. Behind the scenes, dedicated FBI teams painstakingly combed through terabytes of digital data, meticulously tracing every encrypted communication and coded voice memo. The resulting dossier painted a picture of an orchestrated network of secret meetings and under-the-table arrangements that stretched far beyond the boxing ring. These files, once thought to be innocuous personal records, now emerged as potential keystones in a far-reaching conspiracy that blurred the lines between sporting triumphs and criminal enterprise. Analysts argued that the implications of this digital trove extended well beyond Mayweather himself, hinting at a systemic intertwining of sports, entertainment, and illicit finance. Throughout the proceedings, the narrative remained tightly intertwined with the testimony of expert witnesses who presented intricate details of digital forensics and financial forensics alike. Their accounts, replete with technical jargon and precise timelines, slowly pieced together a mosaic of mismanagement and subterfuge. One forensic expert revealed that the encrypted files showed evidence of sophisticated software, tools typically reserved for high-level intelligence operations, not for the everyday communication of a sports celebrity. This revelation sent shockwaves through the courtroom, as it underscored the possibility that Mayweather's secretive ventures reached into realms that few could have imagined. The experts' measured voice, laced with a mix of academic curiosity and professional alarm, lent a gravitas to the proceedings that was impossible to ignore. In his own statements, Mayweather offered a series of fragmented reflections that hinted at regret, anger, and an undying belief in his own complexity. At one point he mused, "I built my life on promises, promises of power, of wealth, of untold stories that the world would envy. But promises, like everything else, can crumble." His words reverberated through the chamber as a testament to a life lived on the razor's edge, where every decision could either catapult him to new heights or pull him into an abyss of despair. It was a moment of brutal honesty, one that resonated with anyone who had ever witnessed the precarious balance between fame and downfall. Even as his voice quivered under the strain of admission, there was an undeniable hint of defiance, a stubborn refusal to be defined solely by his errors.
A boxing match or?
Yeah, boxing match.
Ooh, if you don't mind. If you don't want to, it's fine.
Pedraza. Joseph Pedraza, my first world title. I was 16-0. I was 16-0. 16-0. And I was 21 at the time. And I haven't fought in like 7 or 8 months. And around that time, I wasn't making that much money. I probably was making like $10,000 a fight. So 6 months is crazy to not fight, you know. So when they came back and it was like, all right, you gotta fight. He was like, you gotta fight this fighter, which is Joseph Pedraza. If you don't fight him, you're not fighting. You're like sitting on a shelf. So I had to fight him. In the midst of all that happened,
Public reaction to these revelations has been as varied as it has been passionate. In hushed conversations at sports bars, in the fevered threads of online forums, and in televised discussions that span the globe, commentators pondered the incongruity between the boxer's storied past and his present predicament. Many wondered whether the enigma of Mayweather's private life had been a carefully constructed narrative, one that shielded him from the harsh realities of financial imprudence and legal jeopardy. Others lamented the transformation of a beloved champion into a cautionary tale, a vivid reminder that even icons are mortal, and that beneath every legacy lies a complex web of human frailties. The dialogue was never one-dimensional. It was as if the entire world was collectively holding its breath, anxious to see whether this crisis would herald the end of a legend or a rebirth from the ashes of disgrace. Amid the whirlwind of media coverage, a subtle yet persistent detail emerged regarding Mayweather's close association with a prominent figure from the world of music and business. Rumors of secretive meetings and coded exchanges between the boxer and this enigmatic mogul ignited fresh speculation about the true nature of their relationship. According to sources familiar with the case, the two had long maintained a discreet collaboration that extended far beyond the realm of public appearances and promotional events. Their communications, heavily encrypted and deliberately obscured from prying eyes, suggested a partnership based on mutual ambition and a shared penchant for calculated risk. Although no definitive evidence has been presented linking this association directly to the unfolding scandal, the mere suggestion of such an alliance added layers of intrigue to an already labyrinthine case. As the trial progressed, the impact of digital evidence became increasingly undeniable. Every piece of data extracted from Mayweather's phone served as a reminder that in today's world, secrets are a luxury that few can afford to keep hidden. The forensic reports detailed timestamps, cryptographic signatures, and an intricate network of digital nodes that connected his personal communications with offshore accounts and undisclosed business dealings. Analysts likened these findings to a masterclass in modern subterfuge, a showcase of how cutting-edge technology can both empower and imperil those who dwell in its shadow. The sheer technicality of the evidence, interlaced with the inherent drama of the courtroom, turned this case into a battleground not just for justice, but also for the future of digital privacy and transparency. In a particularly poignant moment of the trial, a veteran legal analyst delivered a stirring account of how Mayweather's life had become a microcosm of broader societal shifts. This case, he stated, is not merely about one man's downfall. It is about the erosion of the traditional barriers that once separated public triumph from private transgression. In an era where every digital whisper can be amplified into a roar, the collapse of a legend becomes an event of monumental consequence. His words underscored the enduring truth that the very mechanisms designed to protect personal privacy can, under the right circumstances, render even the most carefully guarded lives into public spectacles of vulnerability and regret. The narrative around Mayweather's financial difficulties took on an additional layer of complexity, with revelations of bankruptcy filings and the sudden seizure of high-value assets. For years, the boxer's wealth had been paraded as a testament to his success, a dazzling display of luxury cars, opulent mansions, and exclusive properties. But behind the scenes, financial experts began to scrutinize the legitimacy of these assets, noting discrepancies and red flags that suggested a precarious foundation built on shaky financial practices. Court documents painted a picture of a sprawling fortune that was, in truth, more illusion than reality, a facade that crumbled as federal agents swept in and began to dismantle the intricate web of financial mismanagement. In these documents, the stark reality of a once mighty empire in ruins resonated as a somber reminder that unchecked ambition can lead even the greatest figures astray. The seismic impact of these revelations was not confined solely to the courtroom. News outlets across the globe scrambled to piece together the fragments of an unfolding narrative, each adding their own flair to the story of a fallen icon. Social media platforms became echo chambers for a diverse array of opinions, some lamenting the loss of a once revered champion, others speculating on the intricate details of the digital trail that led to his undoing. As the public's fascination grew, so too did the pressure on law enforcement to provide clarity. Every leaked detail, every half-whispered rumor contributed to a collective sense of urgency, the undeniable truth that, not even a legend is above the law. In private moments away from the glare of the public eye, those close to Mayweather recounted a different narrative, a narrative of a man who always carried the weight of immense expectations.
And that's what appears to happen, because they would reach out to, like the company who actually owns the building, who actually owns majority of the buildings. They reached out to them and they would drop some nuggets that just blows this Mayweather con just out there, right? It completely exposes it. For anybody with a brain, you can read this and know what's going on. Mayweather will want us to believe he's big dog who don't need partners, but read what these people said, right? So the people who own the buildings, actually, they said, Floyd Mayweather continues to be a reliable partner and a great ambassador for affordable housing. Bruh, this man is an ambassador for these folks, bruh. He took an upfront check, probably like, I don't know, like a share of the company, a very minute share to promote the company. So then the spokesman for Black Spruce Management said the real estate company,
and the crushing pressure of living up to an almost mythic legacy. Friends and confidants spoke of late-night conversations where the champion would reflect on the turbulent paths that had led him to this fateful day. In one particularly candid recollection, an old friend described Mayweather as a man who bore the scars of battle long before he first entered the ring. These intimate recollections added a human dimension to the otherwise sensational headlines, reminding everyone that behind the shock and scandal lay a human being grappling with the consequences of a lifetime lived on the edge. The digital files, themselves, meticulously encrypted and fiercely guarded, became symbols of the modern age's double-edged sword. On one hand, they represented advanced technology, capable of protecting one's secrets from prying eyes. On the other, they stood as irrefutable evidence that no digital fortress is impenetrable when weighed against the relentless efforts of modern forensic science. The data extracted from Mayweather's phone revealed what many had long suspected, that beneath his carefully curated image lay a network of covert operations, interlaced with secret communications and silent agreements. These revelations raised uncomfortable questions about the true nature of celebrity culture, where the line between public achievement and private deceit is often blurred beyond recognition. The trial entered its more intense phases. The atmosphere in the courtroom turned almost palpable with tension. Every witness, every piece of evidence was met with a mixture of awe and horror. The digital transcripts of encrypted communications were read aloud for all to hear, a litany of secrets that cast long shadows over the illustrious past of a man once celebrated for his on-field prowess. In a heart-wrenching display of vulnerability, Mayweather's own words resonated with the sorrow of a legacy undone. "I thought I was invincible," he admitted during one of his emotional interludes, his voice cracking under the weight of his memories. "Every fight, every victory, I believed. They made me untouchable. But when it comes to facing the truth, even legends are fallible." His admission, raw and unpolished, rippled through the room, cementing the trial as one of the most defining moments in modern sports history. Beyond the judicial proceedings, the ripple effects of these revelations began to challenge long-held narratives about celebrity, wealth, and the intersection of sport and personal integrity. Academics weighed in on the ethical dimensions of the case, debating how the digital era has transformed not only how we perceive success, but also
all this money made. No partners. All by myself. Over 1,000 apartments. I'm just getting started.
Floyd would even post and say this is for motivational purposes. Says every flexer known to mankind. But here's the thing. This is all cap. This is cap. Now, Floyd, I don't know if Floyd Mayweather is so used to deceiving and fooling niggas that he thought he could fool the actual business insiders, because a deal like this shakes up the business world. A deal like this gets talked about. People know about it beforehand. It's something that really shakes up the market. So for this to happen and for nobody...
So how we confront failure. In TU, lecture halls and think tank meetings, scholars explored the broader implications of Mayweather's downfall as emblematic of a society where the digital record leaves no room for erasure and every misstep is immortalized. The notion that a man could once dominate a sport with such flair, only to be undone by the modern instruments of justice, was a stark commentary on the evolution of accountability in a hyper-connected age. As the layers of the story were peeled back, the courtroom drama revealed yet another curious chapter, the intricate financial web that had once been the backbone of Mayweather's lavish lifestyle. In a series of depositions and cross-examinations, financial auditors brought forth documents, the detailed transactions spanning multiple countries and involving a host of shell companies. These records painted an astonishing picture of rapid asset transfers, off-the-record investments, and whispered deals that had allowed the legendary fighter to amass a fortune that, in reality, was far more fragile than public figures had led them to believe. The painstaking dissection of these financial records not only provided further ammunition for the prosecution, but also served as a sobering reminder that unchecked ambition, when entangled with dubious practices, can lead to a catastrophic unraveling of even the most glittering of empires. Deep into the proceedings, as the hours melted into days and the tension within the courtroom reached fever pitch, an unexpected moment of introspection emerged from within Mayweather's own testimony. Amid the relentless barrage of hard evidence, he paused to reflect on a lifetime spent chasing glory. "I once believed that each fight was a chance to rewrite history, to prove that no adversary, no matter how formidable, could ever truly defeat me," he confided, eyes glistening with remorse and a hint of defiant pride. But the truth is that behind every victory, there were hidden costs. Behind every triumph, a shadow of regret. In that instant, the narrative of a seemingly invincible champion was irrevocably rewritten. As the courtroom bore witness to a man wrestling with the ghosts of his past, the layers of complexity only deepened as investigators presented additional evidence linking Mayweather to the enigmatic freak-offs, a term that had until now been confined to coded digital conversations and cryptic voice memos. These so-called freak-offs, shrouded in mystery and speculation, hinted at clandestine meetings that went far beyond the realm of sports and entertainment. The files suggested
Mayweather has performed on all of his obligations. Oh my God, man. This is bad, bro. Mayweather wants us to believe he's this oligarch. He's this super boss. But the people who are actually bosses, who, you know, like who got that different paper, Mayweather is still rich. Don't get it messed up. He's rich. These people is rich, right? Yo, they talking about Mayweather like he like a store boy, bro. Like he a runner. Bro, he's still doing some duties. Like, bro, we satisfied with the duties and obligations he's doing, bro. This is horrible, bro. But if you're somebody who have a brain, you can look at the situation and see where the con is and see what the play is. If you look at Mayweather post, he has a website, right? And the website goes to his new company called Vada Properties. This is just inspiration
that these encounters were part of a broader, more intricate scheme that involved partners, secret venues, and high-risk financial experiments. The revelation sent shockwaves through the courtroom, creating ripples that further blurred the line between the man who had once ruled the boxing world and the shadowy figure implicated in covert dealings. In all the ensuing days, as the legal battle continued to captivate audiences around the globe, media coverage evolved into a frenzied avalanche of commentary, analysis, and personal reflection. Television studios and talk shows replayed every word, every pause, every tear, shed by Mayweather in a relentless cycle of scrutiny and speculation. The public's fixation on his every utterance transformed the trial into a cultural phenomenon, a shared experience where people debated not just the legal ramifications, but the philosophical implications of fame, power, and the fragility of human nature. The narrative resonated because it was, in many ways, a mirror reflecting our collective desire for redemption, reinvention, and the unyielding hope that even in the darkest of moments, there exists the possibility of renewal. Legal experts, forensic analysts, and even former athletes provided their own interpretations of the unfolding drama, each adding their perspective to a story that defied simple categorization. Some argued that Mayweather's emotional collapse was a result of an accumulation of personal demons, a reckoning with the price of a lifestyle built on excess and secrecy. Others maintained that the digital evidence was so damning that it painted a picture of systemic mismanagement, a deliberate, calculated strategy to manipulate public perception while concealing financial and ethical improprieties. Regardless of one's viewpoint, it was clear that the trial had transcended mere courtroom drama, evolving into an epic narrative that encapsulated the triumphs and tragedies of a modern-day icon. Throughout the extensive testimony and the relentless presentation of evidence, a pattern emerged that raised uncomfortable questions about the nature of celebrity and the pressures inherent in maintaining an image of invincibility. Mayweather's life, once a dazzling display of athletic brilliance and unyielding self-assurance, now stood exposed as a complex tapestry woven with threads of brilliance, mistakes, and hidden vulnerabilities. His interactions with legal counsel, his reluctant confessions, and even his defiant glances all combined to create an image of a man who had long been living on borrowed time, a man who had taken risks that
he owns the $400 million property with 62 units. If you go to Mayweather real estate company website, Vada Properties, he lists a bunch of properties, right? That he claims, yo, we own these properties. This is for us. You see skyscrapers. You see a lot of properties is listed here. Mayweather is doing his thing, bro. I mean, he's damn near a billionaire in real estate, right? Business Insider investigated this too, all right? So they spoke to, this time, an actual representative from Mayweather Company, okay? And Business Insider said, hold on, bro. You have this particular building outside of the original deal they capped about, another building. They said, yo, you got this building on your website. Do y'all own this building? Their response will shock you. On his property website, Mayweather listed 1196 Avenue of the Americas among his holdings. Ownership of the building is a 3-story property in Manhattan Diamonds District that is filled with retail tenants in the jewelry business. It also has not been sold, according to property records, right? But Mayweather has it listed on his website. So when they asked the Mayweather spokesman, he stated that hasn't closed yet. So they got properties on their website that they haven't bought yet. They're just listing it to flex for the public. This is ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's like a pile of Mayweather's face at this point. Mayweather is rich already, but Mayweather, I guess, is upset.
In the end, proved too great even for someone of his legendary status. As the trial marched on, new evidence was introduced that further complicated the narrative. Detailed records showed that a significant portion of the encrypted communications referenced transactions in foreign currencies, secret bank accounts located in discreet offshore enclaves, and financial maneuvers that were designed to obscure the true flow of money. These revelations prompted a flurry of questions from the media and legal commentators alike. How had a man reputed for his extraordinary financial acumen allowed himself to fall victim to such elaborate schemes? Was it a matter of sheer miscalculation, or a deliberate descent into a world where the rules no longer applied? The answers remained elusive, adding yet another layer of mystery to an already convoluted tale. Even as the relentless inquiries into Mayweather's financial dealings continued, his personal testimony offered glimpses into a life of profound internal conflict. Every decision, he once confided during a particularly emotional deposition, was made with the belief that I was invincible, that I could outsmart the system, outmaneuver the pitfalls. But now I see that the system is far more powerful than any one man. His candid admission resonated deeply with an audience that had long reconciled itself to the notion of celebrity perfection. Here was a man of extraordinary talent and drive, now laid bare by the inexorable forces of fate and justice. His statement was both a lamentation and a lesson, a poignant reminder that even the strongest can falter when faced with the unyielding truth. In the aftermath of the most dramatic revelations, there was a palpable shift in the tone of the proceedings. What had once been a spectacle of high drama began to reveal subtler undercurrents of regret, introspection, and the harsh realities of accountability. Courtroom observers noted that even among the prosecution's ranks, there was a sense of solemnity as the full implications of the case sank in. The trial was no longer just about determining guilt or innocence. It had become a platform for a broader societal reckoning with themes of transparency
To this poor
others.
crawl under his
He had been